This time on Ask Rad Rat, we talk about skill versus creativity in skateboarding, and also the best way to progress when you have limited to no time to skate. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Rad Rat Video, the channel where you can learn something new about skateboarding 3 times a week. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we talk about something in the skateboarding world, from trick histories to looking at the career of your favorite pro to answering your questions on this series, Ask Rad Rat. So I've got 3 of them for you today. The first one is from Left Brain Right Foot, who asks, what do you think of skills versus creativity in skateboarding? So you definitely need a mix of both of those. What he's talking about specifically is skill just being doing really hard tricks well, and creativity being finding a new way to do something that's interesting. So you can see there are a lot of pros that are so heavily on the skill side that it gets kind of boring. You know, they do a really crazy trick, but it's the same trick you've seen a million times, it's just slightly better. It's one stair longer than the last guy, or it's switch instead of regular, but it's just a crooked grind, just a nose grind, just a kick flip, just a 360 flip, and you're not seeing anything too interesting from a technical standpoint. The other side being people like me, how I used to skate back in the day, I would always try to do something that was more uncommon rather than more difficult. So I learned 360 flips and I could do them, but I could also do impossibles. And impossibles I think are actually easier. You can learn them right here actually. But if I ever went to a skate park and did an impossible at the time, this is 2003, 4, 5, you do an impossible there and people would stop and stare at you because they've never seen someone do that before. That's something Rodney Mullen does. That's crazy. Nowadays nobody cares. But I would try to focus on tricks that were uncommon, and so you didn't know how easy they really were. I would do a lot of weird no comply stuff, no comply 360 hard flip, no comply laser double flip, stuff like that. It's not actually difficult, it just looks like it maybe because you've never seen someone do it before. It looks like it might be really hard to control or something like that. But you definitely have to fall somewhere in between. Don't be like me and don't be like those guys. Try to do things that are creative, but push yourself in a skill way too. Something that I really didn't do all that well. We've got a second question from Left Brain Right Foot. It is, do you think there will ever be a perfect skating game? If yes, then what elements would you like in it? I've talked about games quite a bit before, and I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect skateboarding game for everyone because we all want something different. For me, I just want something that feels like skateboarding, something that scratches that same itch. Something where you play it and you feel like you've worked up to your trick and you actually feel good when you land it. So Skate was really, really close to that. Some of the animation and stuff like that wasn't great. I didn't love all the story-based stuff, but something in that vein would be perfect for me. I have high hopes for Session. For other people, they might want something else. They might want more story stuff. They might want it to be more arcade-like, more of a Tony Hawk type of thing. So I don't know. I know of 3 games that are in development in one way or another. There's Session, there's another one, I'll try to put it on screen. It's just a project by a guy now, but who knows. There's a third one that I can't talk about. I was talking to the developer, they might have canceled it, I don't know. But I think that there's always a chance that your perfect game will come out, but you can't please everybody. The last question is from Taylor Wilcox, 1988. Hey, I'm also 1988, you're just as old as me. I recently got back into skating after about 5 years of little to no skating, and I feel like I'm learning all over again. My time is more limited, and I now only skate about 1 hour most weekdays. What's your opinion on the best way to spend session time in terms of maximizing progression? Do you think it's best to not move on to another trick until you've mastered your current tricks? Try something new every day? Do pros have routines? So that last part first, some pros have routines. There are hundreds of pros, so you can't really have a big rule for everybody. But I think Nigel Houston, this was back in the day, maybe 10 years or more ago, he used to have this backyard skate park and he would drill certain tricks every day. As a contest skater, it makes sense. You know, do 5 feebles and blah, 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 and hit all these check boxes, and then you can go about the rest of your day, which made sense for him. Rodney Mullen back in the 80s, there was a Transworld article about his training routine where he would skate a certain number of hours, drilling tricks he could already do, spend other time working on things that are new, work on inventing new things as well. But we don't have time for that, you and me. We both don't. You skate an hour every single weekday. I don't get out there quite as much as you even. So one of the things that I've been trying to figure out myself is how to keep consistent with things and everything. And what I've come to realize is that it makes a lot more sense to focus on a handful of tricks. Pick your favorite tricks and just get really good at them. Keep practicing them, do them in different places, do them bigger and better and cleaner and smoother. So I have the shred school, and I recently taught the semi-flip this summer, and I had to relearn that trick. You know, I don't want to teach kickflip, pop shove it, ollie, fakie ollie, all the basic stuff. I want to teach things that you can't find in other places. But that means that I have to relearn tricks. I have to do something that's really difficult. And that leads to a lot of frustration. If I just went out there and I did nothing but my consistent stuff and just learned how to flow around better and, you know, if I went to a skate park, I just skate at the basketball courts. But if I went to the skate park, learn how to hit every box and rail and all that kind of stuff, I think that would be a lot more satisfying, because the big question is, what are you trying to progress toward? If you're almost 30 and you took a 5-year break, you're probably not looking to gain sponsors and turn pro and all that kind of stuff. You're probably just looking to get better just for your own sake. And I would say it's a lot more satisfying to go out there and put together a line, do something really, really perfectly, rather than work all day on one trick and finally land it sketchy. So that's what I would do. I recently did a video on Tom Penny and looking into his career, and the way that he skated really inspired me more in that direction. He had a lot of tricks, but he had some staples. He would do kick flips, switch flips, frontside flips, switch frontside flips, and he would do them all perfectly. So clean all the time. He would do them anywhere. He could do them on hip, you know, the hard way, so he's got to spin extra. He would do them in quarter pipes. He would do everything, and just got really, really good at it. And you watch that and you think, that has to feel amazing to be able to just flow around a skate park, do tricks perfectly every time. So if I were you, and if I were myself, something I'm also working on, I would just drill in those tricks and get really good at them, and then kind of slowly expand from there, as opposed to just going crazy and trying to land as many different things as possible and then forgetting them right away. So that's my advice for you. If you have any questions for next time, I have a link to my Instagram and Twitter below. Send me a DM on there and I will take a look at it. But until next time, here are a couple videos YouTube will recommend to you. On the side and right here in the middle is my logo. You can tap on that to subscribe so you can keep learning new things about skateboarding 3 times a week. Thanks for watching.